you can quantify for your movements.
And those other treats, which again is from the sales tree.
Y'all ready for this?
What is happening YouTube? I hope you guys are well. We are right now in Sweden, Stockholm. It's Sunday right now. We had an early bird flight, 4 AM wake up and 8 AM already landed. We are at some friends of ours. I got this awesome home gym. I'm just doing a little bit of a warm up right now. Sunday now, I got my usual sessions planned. So that is my long run now, 25K zone 2. I'll do that first. And then in the afternoon, I actually meet two of my athletes that are here from Sweden, Mikael, Mika and Maria. So I look forward to meeting them as well, having a harder swim as well later. So those are the two sessions for today. Then tomorrow, that's the main reason why I'm here in just one night over here in Stockholm. So tomorrow is the bike fit. I hope it's gonna be a good one. I have a good feeling. But with bike fitting, you only know afterwards exactly changes, and you often feel, make small adjustments. But Ian, the one we're going to pain-free power here in Stockholm, good recommendations, and hoping for the best, because you gotta improve. You know, you gotta improve your numbers, your watts, your physical fitness. But equally important, like Formula 1, the car and everything, you have to improve on the aerodynamic side each year, and you can improve a lot more, a lot quicker, with more financial investment, but I just play with the budget that I have right now and optimize that. So see you after the run.
What is happening, guys? So yeah, that run was definitely unexpected. So there's two ways you can tackle this, and I want to get you a bit through my journey, how over the years I developed a better mindset when it comes to this, because there's two voices when it comes to this. For example, what happened now, I was a lot slower, so like really a lot slower, and my legs felt heavier as well. So like very abnormal things for me, the way I trained. Then you have to first check, okay, what are the fundamental basics, right? So how was your diet, for example? That could be if you're carb depleted, that could be the case. Now diet check was good yesterday. Then how was your hydration the last 24 hours? Now was good for sure as well. Then the last one, how was your sleep? Anything abnormal that happened in the last, must have been 24 hours, because yesterday I still felt good, my heart rate response was good, so something happened in the last 24 hours. What happened with your sleep? Well, there's the obvious yellow, if not red flag. I slept 4.5 to 5 hours because of that flight. So very short night's sleep. So that can cause the legs fatigue, okay. But also another one was that the heart rate was pretty suppressed. So it was about 8 to 10 beats. And then before you start analyzing the heart rate, I made sure that I checked that the data is actually correct. So what I did is I decoupled the heart rate sensor, because sometimes when the Garmin especially runs low with a battery, the heart rate strap, I feel like the heart rate tends to go down. So I decoupled that, I had the wrist heart rate, made it really tight, same range, also then felt, kind of same range, so a lot suppressed, which I didn't have yesterday or the day before. So okay, something happened. That could definitely be the sleep. It most likely is, but you're not 100% sure, right? So then it's okay, do you stop the session? Do you continue? How do you feel? And at that point in the session, you can never be 100% sure. Because athletes, I'm no different with that. It's almost impossible when you're in training, unless something's completely wrong. If you feel okay, I feel like I can do the distance, just what I did now, but slower paced, and ignore data, just go by what your supercomputer, your brain tells you with effort. Keep it low effort, because something is obviously abnormal. And now I gotta monitor the next 1 to 3 hours. If anything abnormal is there, I have no problem throwing a full rest day in. So that's how I tackle these things now, mind-wise, right? Because the initial response are not different. I shut that voice out now after 5 seconds, because that voice is not helping. It's like, man, like whiny, you know. If you're under 16 years old, I get it, you're young, you're still a child. But if you're older than 16 years old and you behave like a toddler and kind of like, oh man, it's so bad, this session went so bad. And it's not a form of venting, because venting is good. You can do that with your friend, your psychologist, not with your coach. That's not the role of the coach. I feel the coach, sure, psychology is in there, but first and foremost, you should have time and energy to analyze your training, structure your training plan, right? So don't confuse those. Venting, very good thing, but if you're complaining about a training session, although you did the whole session, because of your expectations from it and it went different, that is just training. If you train for three sports on general training, not like exercising 2-3 times a week, then you will feel always good. But if you're training, so you're training daily almost, you can expect to feel different. So don't be complaining in the comment section to your coach and be whining, because that's not venting, that's not helping you. That is literally the opposite of helping you, because it's spiraling you into negative and is not helping whatsoever. So there's important, behave like a grown-up. You're not a toddler anymore, you're not a child. You're not allowed to cry about a training session. That is the wrong perspective. You gotta get a grip of that voice, because that voice is not trying to help you. It's not like when you wrote that comment and complained about it, that you're feeling better. You also dragged your coach into it. That person's not also getting irritated or has to deal with your emotions. So it's, yeah, make sure that that voice gets checked. Be rational, training, and your body is a high performance car, and you need to treat it with respect and understand it and try to listen to it, and that way you will get the best performance out of your training sessions.
What is happening, YouTubers? It's Monday morning now. We're in Stockholm. Had a really good night's sleep, rested well, and now it's time to head off to the bike fit. Yeah, still gotta build the bike. Shouldn't be too quick. I have all, not too slow. I have all the tools with, but I'll do it there, so I don't have to drag it over. And anyways, we're in a hotel, and it's just 850 meters from the hotel. We're in Chista here, it's called. It's really close to airport, really easy to reach. We'll head over there now, and then look forward to the bike fit. We have to solve a mystery now in the elevator. You can join in. There's a local demon in this elevator. You will witness its time soon. Scary shit. Let's get out of here. So a little update on the situation, how it was after the run yesterday, because it could always be your immune system as well, right? That suppresses your heart rate like that. As I said, I thought most likely it's
it's the fatigue and the sleep, the 4 hours of sleep that can do that. And as I said, the 1 to 3 hours after the session tell if you really feel like you're dropping with your feeling and immune system. But I felt fine, I ate, I rested. I had the swim planned as I said, but unfortunately I had to cancel that one because first it was really difficult to get all the pool lanes, difficult to get to the pool. It wasn't as easy as I thought when I researched it before, so unfortunately not possible to do the swim. And secondly, even if I was at home, I would have done some easy technique drills, maximum, and even that is questionable if you can absorb it. So I always make the decision now. I always try to do them how can I be, consistent really long term. That's the first session I had to skip in, I don't know, months now that were planned, and good reason for it. So today the bike fit, otherwise more rest. Feel really good. We slept really long, slept 10 hours plus. I feel really good again because tomorrow is the intensity day again. The second last one. It's the last week of load coming, and with having travel in there and the bike fit, although it's just one night, still extra load, and having that in the bank and done, which is important. I want to improve, or I have to improve with the numbers, but equally much I have to improve with aerodynamics, like a Formula 1 car, So we're doing the right steps, and happy I got another 80k run weekend. That's the cool thing with running, that probably one of the few sports, no, actually swimming and cycling also, swimming probably the least, cycling, but running, even when you run slow, when you listen to one of the most famous marathon coaches that trained like 100 years of Kenyans basically, and slow running, you still get the muscle strengthening, the tendon strengthening, and I got the miles in, so it's in this case it's really good, best decision, really happy how everything went, feeling great now instead of getting sick now, which could have been an option, always is, always a risk these days, but my immune system and body is strong and I'm making good choices, which I didn't in the past. That's why I go through this. I made horrible decisions in the past, which led to not injury. I never get orthopedically injured, that was my thing, but immune system, that was my big thing. 2023 I was 6 times sick. 3-4 weeks training, boom, a little something. So hello. Hey. You just said that you're moving places, or?
Yeah, exactly. So we're moving into 2 studios, so we're kind of splitting everything into half, so that we can kind of cover a bit more of a central location without having too big a place in the city, because the rent is not
pretty nuts
sustainable.
In Stockholm, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then that means we can kind of have something more. So through the winter out here is quite difficult. People, they can't ride up to here necessarily.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So then it means that we can have something more accessible to people in the winter.
Yeah, like stay focused on like bike feeling,
Exactly.
aerodynamics,
So
and all that.
Exactly. Primary thing
But
is all still.
after and
Yeah, exactly that. And just to have some like sort of more specific triathlon parts, like with TT helmets and like some arrow shoes.
I see you got a few there. I brought mine with, but
yes, exactly. It's, like we said, for you just to bring everything you've got.
Yeah,
and then
all I got.
between us, we'll have everything we need.
Yeah, nice.
But we're looking forward to it. It's fun today.
I'll bike the start.
Yeah,
start doing the bike and then
get into a bike and then we
got some time. Before in those other cleats, which again, this common sales thing.
Yeah.
I had it for so long. I always felt like, for example, on my mountain bike, I felt 10 times better. I felt so like wobbly and slippery and like just like not completely powerful.
Yeah.
But everybody says, oh, they're good, they're aero. Like then you get stuck in the sales thing. Before that, I had Shimano. I never issues. And
was that the 0 Plus you had before then with the bonds?
Yeah, and
the ones with the
speed blades.
Flap, yeah.
Speed blade ones. Yeah. And luckily I changed now. I changed to this and different shoes. And
yeah. And that's
so
more stable.
So different. Oh my god. this helmet I already started putting on like more, you know, tilted back.
Yes, kind of rolling it
That's
up.
kind of my,
So you can try to get
thinking
onto the
back
shoulders.
then.
And is that a sponsorship thing?
No,
the
no,
helmet?
I'm
No.
totally free.
Yeah.
Free as a bird.
Perfect.
But,
That's always nice. The worst things when like something doesn't look great and then someone's like, oh, but I have to keep it, unfortunately.
No, those deals are not make. I think.
You can choose the good answer rather than.
Yeah.
If you go one more gear up, press Matti.
This up?
Yeah, let's try that one. That one sounds better, doesn't it? Perfect. And you can quantify a few of the movements. Say towards something more representative.
Yeah, let's do a 315 then. Why not?
What was that, sorry?
Just maybe let's do 315 and then
315, yeah.
then we get
I thought you said 350. No,
my normalized Ironman power target. So
yeah, perfect. I'm getting warm.
yeah.
But yeah, you can jump off the trainer when you're ready. Got some track data as well, so we can measure a few things on that in a moment. But we'll just have a chat through how things look to begin with. But as a starting point, it looks like a decent position to begin with, which is kind of what we'd expect. Like, we're not expecting it to look terrible to begin with. It should be something reasonable to start us with. Flexed, which isn't always that helpful because we're basically stretching the calves an enormous amount through the pedal stroke.
Yeah, true.
So then doing that for 180k and then trying to run isn't ideal.
Open for everything.
Yeah, but this does often come from sitting further forwards. So there's a trade-off with this because the further backwards we put you, the more stable we can make that ankle because we can stack the knee and the ankle more effectively. But at the same time, we're going to close the hips up more, which is then going to make it harder to stay aero. So it's
true.
a constant balance point with that. But like you said, the ankle mobility looks huge. Most triathletes aren't great for anything mobility wise, so it's quite a low benchmark to say it's good, but but it definitely
trying to work on it helps
to
to swim, right? But like it's
exactly and this is always
tricky,
the thing with multi-sport is like what makes one of them better often isn't that helpful for the other two. So yeah, that's slightly off centre on the bike, so a little bit off the left hand side. But
I feel like always something is going on with my left pelvis. I mean, there's something.
No, I would agree. It's
always
the timing that happens. It can be either a limitation in terms of if I could frame this one. So it can either be when we have this obliquity relative to the horizontal, like say we're down on that side. It can either be that we've got a force sort of pushing or pulling you up in that direction, or pushing or pulling you down in that direction. So it can either come from above the hip, pushing that down, below the hip, pulling that down, or below the hip, pushing that up, above the hip, pulling that up. So the problem is whichever side it is would create the same movement, hypothetically. So we don't really know whether it's actually the right one elevating or the left one becoming depressed. We're generally expecting for most people at your kind of level particularly would be somewhere around like 140 to 145 degrees in the extension. So it is on the low side at around 136. Not unheard of, like it's within a relatively safe area. Like generally the research will show like anything from like 135 to 155 can be okay, which is an enormous window of satellites. We've got an effective movement at this end first and then get the front to that retrospectively. But it should improve the situation at the front, I think, if we can get the saddle higher as well, because we should be able to try and bring the hips up behind this part a bit more. Exactly, yeah. To kind of hinge you onto that.
Like a tent in the wind in the front, like.
Yeah, and some of it is that the bars are reasonably high.
I was thinking, my gut feeling was anyways like I want to go low on the front.
Yeah, which I
don't know if
would disagree with, but it's going to see how much room we've got there, because you've got a spacer underneath, do you? Or We have to have the bottom one, don't we, on these?
So we played around with the base bar position, this position first, went quite a bit up and changed around cleats, different insoles. Feels super amazing because the feeling, the subjective one, it's something super important. So we kept it all the tests at 300 watts and RPE definitely went a lot down. So we went quite a bit up. I can show the pictures as well eventually. So that one is set. What we now did the front, we went a bit lower as well. So kind of the whole body goes like that. Also RPE wise, and a mental clue for me, because sometimes I try to like do the tuck with the shoulders like actively, and that was difficult to maintain. So now was a clue, just I heard that before, but still you get confused what's important, you know. And then I did that, and then really smooth in the position. Now we're adding my 2 bottles, the system that I have here on top. So we have the 2 bottles closing the gap, playing with helmet choices, and already looks 10 times better. If I had to guess, I don't know, 20 watts saved for sure. So you can see it on pictures if you did a bit of air testing. So feels amazing, which is important, and it feels maintainable that you actually can look ahead. You still gotta do it on the road, but I don't want something that looks super fast and slick and you're looking down and and then you see pictures of the race and you're like a tent in the wind. So really happy so far.
Say again, sorry.
180k, I'm gonna think about that.
Exactly. And the more
Not
you
like
think
a lot
about
to
it,
think about anyways.
the more you think about it, the less duration you have to hold it for because you go faster.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
the less time it takes. So. Space where the chest was before.
And normally you have a longer bottle, so it's a question.
Whether that then maybe needs angling.
Yeah,
the
I mean, I
longer
can
one.
even have a shorter bottle. But you said the height is this thing, right?
It's more really at the moment the height kind of around here that's kind of pushing onto the chest where you.
But then
you
it makes,
are on the
because I
bottom.
have my chest there anyways, so that I have a wider chest, so I don't have to fill much of a gap. I can actually put a small bottle on top probably.
Potentially, yeah. But the other thing would be if the bottle was just actually a bit lower down.
Or should I put it off the
here,
top
for
one?
example.
Should we put the top one off?
Do you want kind of in between where those two are? Is the problem? I don't know if we can, because that's just
because that construction.
option, isn't it?
He said, yeah. He said,
'Cause could you get done with?
yeah. That guy said
What's
that
height
the guy
there?
stopped making all this stuff, but he
Okay.
said this block can go away. Actually, I can put this off. I never did it, but we can check how it looks.
Okay, so the
He said that's
pillar just
optional.
kind of sits onto the.
Yeah, he
Huh.
said something. I don't know how it looks on. I never did it, but he said, so we can see. Maybe there's something to play around with. Because I mean, I'm all the way back, so I can't really.
Yeah.
I can angle it, but like I said, that probably doesn't.
It's not going to change it much on the height. Four.
Ooh,
And then that
hello.
can mount directly on that.
Hello, friend.
Because if we're using it flat anyway.
Probably need shorter screws, but
Yeah,
definitely.
I can go and find some.
yeah. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
put it just on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll put it on my desk, otherwise it'll still be there later.
Damn.
Today.
Get
Yeah, I guess
all happening for a reason, huh?
Exactly.
No chance but to win now. All coming together nicely. Can you feel it? Can you feel it through the video? You've seen me failing, crashing, burning, doing like shit. Positivity. But the momentum is up. A strong curve up. Can you feel it? I certainly do. So 2025 will be the start of something.
I don't know what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm trying my best. But I promise you, something is coming. Something's coming for me.
How much space we're trying to find. We could possibly space the bottle up a little bit more.
True. To the right point. Yeah.
Exactly. We could just get like a small washer 3D printed to go between the two. To you and raise you up with it. Exactly. So then when we move the bottle down a bit more out of the way, it gives you room to push the back.
Really nice and straight back, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, back looks really good.
That's good for you.
Exactly.
Why is it good for you again?
And so it can be can be good for quite a few things. It doesn't need to be straight. Like there's an over dependence on being like completely straight, but straighter generally air flows over it better. Air doesn't go around bends particularly well, and it's more actively engaged through the torso. So when we start to have too much flexion, we end up more almost like stretching the spinal extensors, which you're staying up, but more through like a passive engagement. So if you stretch those muscles for 3-4 hours on the bike, and then you need them to stand up and run, they don't work so well.
And like when you think about like breathing muscles and gut function, what is that better as well?
Generally more positive, because when we have this kind of flexion, we're kind of compressing everything anteriorly.
Crunched, huh?
Exactly. So we're kind of squashing everything into a smaller space on the front, because we're kind of arching up like that. We've got less room for it all to fill, whereas we get that lengthen through the torso. You've got more room for the lungs to expand into.
Open spine is always good, right?
Exactly, yeah. And it's more trainable. So when we have this kind of passive engagement through the torso, the more you do it, like the longer and weaker that hypothetically is going to become. So it's going to get worse over time. Whereas the more you do this, initially it's going to be difficult to do because
it's like
active
sitting up straight, basically, right?
Exactly, yeah. And equally, it also makes it easier to maintain a better head position most of the time. So when we have that flexion through the upper thoracic, so if we go back to that initial one that we had for you.
That really makes sense because it feels good. It feels lighter, kind of on the. Because sometimes you feel like your spine and everything's crunched, like you feel tight off the bike. Right?
Exactly, and that's kind of what we were this initial position you were in. When this arches up through here, we then end up requiring more extension through the neck to see forwards. Because your upper thoracic is actually negatively inclined at this point. It's kind of pointing downwards due to that flexion, which then means to get the head looking forwards requires you to extend more in the neck. Whereas with this more neutral line through here, you're not having to have such a big angle change into the neck to see forwards, because you're more really neutrally inclined through the upper back.
$500.
Yeah, and I would say it's not.
I don't think it's a bad helmet, or like.
I would say it's not worth changing until we tested things.
Until you hit the track.
There's nothing that looks bad with this, so there's no visual reason to change helmets. We need to get some data to support that decision.
And the gap is nicely closed, right? So
exactly, that's what I mean. So there's no reason to suspect that this wouldn't work well without us testing it and seeing whether it does.
And if we have those 3 to 5 watts, or I mean, some helmets like the new one coming with the width might be worth testing, right?
It's certainly worth testing to see whether helmets change or not. But without, with sort of Scandinavian winters, that's challenging outside.
So we'll get to it for sure.
Yeah, the air pressure is quite dense at the moment with the temperatures.
No, that's good.
Cool.
Yep. Alright guys, that was it. I feel a lot more comfortable, a lot faster. I'm not just saying that, as you guys know, I'm no BS on this channel. So thanks a lot for Ian, really big shout out. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be really good in the future as well, developing and coming back to do aero testing and lots to do. So check out Ian on the Instagram profile, here. Check him out and
good luck for the season.
Yeah, I'll see you soon, huh? If you like this type of stuff, guys, feel free to subscribe to the channel. There'll be lots more videos coming about my 2025 Ironman Pro season. Second go at it, and it will be an exciting one. See you next one.